title. She dared to kiss the billionaire, but he gripped her waist and whispered, "This is not over." Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to our main character. The music swells in the Grand Marlowe Hotel ballroom, soft strings rising beneath the warm glow of chandeliers. Elena Carter stands near the edge of the dance floor, clutching a glass of sparkling water because it is the only thing on the menu she can afford to pretend she wants. She is not supposed to be here. She is the assistant of an assistant, filling in for someone who called in sick. She was told to blend in, but nothing about this place feels blendable, not when her dress is borrowed, slightly too big at the waist, and patched carefully where the seam tore last year. She inhales, reminding herself she only needs to survive the next hour. Then her best friend's voice echoes in her head. If you ever get the chance to be bold for once in your life, take it. That was supposed to be about applying for better jobs, not about what is happening now, because across the ballroom, surrounded by executives and dignitaries, stands him, Adrian Hale, the youngest billionaire in the city. Tall, impossibly composed, wearing a midnight black suit that probably costs more than her yearly rent. His reputation, ruthless, brilliant, untouchable. A man who never smiles unless there are cameras. And her co-workers, half drunk and reckless, whisper a dare into her ear. Go kiss him, just a quick one. 10 seconds. You will be a legend. He's Devon Stour. They laugh like it is a harmless joke. They do not think she will actually do it. Elena's pulse stutters. She should laugh it off. She should walk away. But something inside her snaps the weight of overdue bills, the fear of losing her tiny apartment, the humiliation of working 3 jobs and still falling short. Maybe it is foolish. Maybe it is madness. But tonight, she decides to be bold. She sets her glass down. Her feet begin moving before her brain catches up. Step by step through the crowd, weaving between elegant couples and shimmering gowns, until she reaches him. Adrian is in the middle of a conversation with 2 board members when he senses her presence. He turns, brows lifting slightly in surprise. Before she can lose her courage, Elena rises onto her toes and presses a quick, soft kiss to his lips. Gasps ripple around them. A fork clatters onto a plate. Someone whispers her name like a prayer or a warning. Elena's breath shudders. She takes 1 step back, mortified, ready to apologize and flee the ballroom entirely. But she does not get far. A large, steady hand wraps around her waist. Adrian pulls her closer with a slow, deliberate motion, his gaze locked on hers. His voice is low, quiet enough for only her to hear. This is not over. Her heart stops. The room feels suddenly airless. She cannot tell if she is trapped or chosen. In the next moment, Adrian's expression shifts, something calculating, something dangerous, and Elena realizes she has just stepped into the life of a man whose world runs on contracts, secrets, and deals written in gold, and he is not letting her walk away. Adrian does not release her. For a long second, Elena feels the weight of every gaze in the ballroom pressing against her back. The music keeps playing, but it suddenly sounds very far away. Adrian's hand is steady at her waist, not forceful, just impossibly certain, as if he has already decided something she has not even begun to understand. Then, just as quickly, he lets her go. Elena Carter, is that correct? He asks, his voice lower than before, carrying the crisp authority everyone in the room recognizes. It is not a threat, it is not even anger, it is assessment, calculation, interest. She swallows. Yes, sir. He was no. He nods once, then gestures toward a quieter corner of the ballroom. She follows because the alternative is running out the door and quitting all 3 of her jobs tomorrow morning out of sheer humiliation. When they reach the hallway outside, the noise of the gala muffles behind the tall doors. Crystal sconces cast a warm glow across the marble walls. Adrian turns to her fully, arms relaxed but gaze razor-sharp. Who dared you to do it? He asks. Elena blinks. What? The kiss. His tone is even, almost calm. You are not the type of person who would risk something so bold without a push. Her stomach twists. He is right. He is absolutely right. But she cannot drag her co-workers into this. It was my decision, she says quietly. I am responsible. Adrian studies her, searching for something in her face. You are honest. That is rare. She stiffens, unsure if it is praise or a warning. Then something unexpected happens. He steps back, as if giving her space on purpose. There will be consequences, he says. A public moment like that will circulate within hours. My board watches everything I do. Her breath stumbles. She knows how social media works. One video is enough to cost her every shift she depends on. I am sorry, she says. It is the only truth she has left. Adrian's expression changes, not softening exactly, but shifting into something more strategic. I do not want an apology, Miss Carter. I want a solution. A solution? He nods. The situation needs a narrative, something that prevents misunderstandings, something that benefits us both. The words sink in slowly. He is not angry. He is planning. Before she can ask what that means, the doors behind them open and a senior board member steps out. Adrian, the press team is asking about the incident. Should we deny everything? Elena feels her heart drop. The incident, that is all she is now. A problem, a mess. Adrian does not look at the board member. His eyes remain fixed on Elena. No, he says. There will be no denial. The board member frowns. Then what should I tell them? Adrian's answer is immediate. Tell them I will address it personally. With her. The man blinks, confused. Her? Meaning? Adrian gestures lightly to Elena, as if she is already part of a plan she has not heard yet. Miss Carter and I will make a statement together. Don't for. Elena's knees weaken. A statement? What kind of statement? Adrian finally gives her the full truth, spoken with the calm certainty of a man who signs deals worth billions. The kind that turns a foolish dare, he says, into something that looks intentional. Her pulse thunders. Intentional in what way? He holds her gaze, unwavering. Miss Carter, after tonight, he says, the world will not think you kissed me on a dare. They will think you are my girlfriend. He spries. The hallway goes silent. Her life, so fragile and overworked and barely holding together, tilts sharply on its axis. And for the first time, Elena understands. That one impulsive kiss did not end anything. It started something. Elena does not understand how her feet keep moving, but somehow she is walking beside Adrian Hale as he leads her through a back corridor of the Grand Marlowe Hotel. Her pulse is loud in her ears, louder than the distant music from the ballroom. She keeps waiting to wake up, to discover this is some strange dream brought on by stress and exhaustion. But the polished marble floors beneath her heels feel too solid for dreams, and Adrian's presence beside her feels even more real. He stops near a private lounge reserved for executives and gestures for her to enter. The room is quiet, washed in soft amber light, with tall windows overlooking the city. Elena stands near the doorway, afraid to move farther inside, afraid to breathe too loudly. Adrian closes the door behind them. We do not have much time before questions escalate, he says. I need to outline what happens next. Her fingers tighten around her clutch bag. Sir, I do not think pretending to be your girlfriend is a good idea. Miss Carter, it is not an idea, he replies. It is the plan. She draws in a shaky breath. Why me? You could choose anyone. Someone polished. Someone who knows how to handle the spotlight. Do as no. Adrian's eyes remain steady on her. Someone polished would look manufactured. Someone ambitious would look opportunistic. You, however. He pauses, scanning her expression. You look sincere. You look like a person who did not plan any of this. I did not, she says softly. That is precisely what makes it believable. She feels a twist in her chest. Believable. That is what she is to him. A useful narrative. But before she can form a response, Adrian continues. The board will assume the kiss was staged unless we give them a different explanation. A relationship, even a new one, is the simplest route. A knot forms in her stomach. You want me to lie to the entire city. I want you to survive what could happen if you do not, he counters. You work in the same industry that spreads stories for entertainment. You know how viral moments can destroy people who have far less power than I do. This way. She hates that he is right. She hates that a single video could cost her the one steady paycheck she has. She hates that she does not have the privilege to walk away from consequences. Quietly, she asks, what exactly would I have to do? Adrian steps closer, not intimidating her, but grounding her with calm certainty. Attend a few public events with me. Follow a simple schedule. Maintain basic etiquette. Nothing more. Nothing more, she repeats. No demands beyond professionalism, he says. There will be clear boundaries. I do not cross personal lines. His tone is controlled, respectful, almost formal. It steadies her more than she expected. But reality still weighs heavily on her. People will figure it out eventually, that it was all fake. They will not, Adrian says, because we will set rules, and we will follow them. Rules. She can handle rules. Rules are safe. Rules make sense. What kind of rules? She asks. I will have my legal team draft the full contract, he says. But there will be 3 essentials. He raises one finger. 1. Appear with me at 5 scheduled events this month. A second finger. 2. Maintain privacy. No interviews, no posts, no explanations. A third. And 3. No emotional involvement. We keep this strictly professional. Something tightens in her throat. It should comfort her, but instead it makes the air feel heavy. He looks at her again. If you agree, you will have protection from the media. You will not lose your job, and your name will remain untarnished. She closes her eyes for a moment, overwhelmed. She never asked for any of this. She never wanted attention. All she wanted was to blend in, get through her shift, pay her bills, breathe. When she opens her eyes, Adrian is still watching her with that unreadable calm. What if I say no? She asks quietly. Then by morning, he says, your name will already be circulating online, attached to headlines you cannot control. The truth lands hard because it is not a threat. It is simple reality. Elena exhales slowly. Her hands tremble slightly, but her voice does not. If I agree, how long does this last? 30 days, Adrian answers. A month. Just 1 month. She nods, barely. I will do it. Adrian gives a single approving nod, as if sealing an unspoken deal. Good. Then the contract begins tonight. And just like that, Elena steps into a world ruled by power, image, and impossible expectations. A world where a single kiss has turned her life into a negotiation. Elena stands very still after Adrian's words settle between them. 30 days, 5 events, no emotional involvement. It sounds simple when he says it, but her entire life feels as if it has just shifted onto a narrow ledge high above the ground. She inhales carefully, trying to steady herself. She has agreed. There is no going back now. Adrian steps toward the door of the private lounge. There is one more thing before you leave tonight, he says. You will need preparation. My image team will assist you. Assist me with what? Elena asks. Presentation, he replies. Appearance, etiquette, the basics required for the public eye. Her cheeks warm. She knows he is not trying to insult her, but it still stings. She looks down at her borrowed dress, the hemline she sewed by hand, the faint tear she hoped no one would notice. She had known she did not belong in this world. Hearing it confirmed by a billionaire only drives the truth deeper. Adrian senses the shift in her expression. Miss Carter, this is not a judgment of your worth, he says. It is a logistical necessity. The media interprets every detail. We must be careful. She nods, even though her throat feels tight. I understand. Good. He checks his watch. I will have my driver take you home. What about the statement? She asks. We will give it tomorrow morning, he says. A short appearance outside the Hale corporate tower. My team will release the time once they coordinate with security. She swallows again. So tomorrow, everyone will know. Yes, he says, but they will know the version that protects you. And dazed. For a moment, they simply stand facing each other, the quiet settling between them like a fragile agreement. Then, Adrian opens the lounge door and leads her back toward the quieter wing of the ballroom. The crowd inside has not forgotten what happened. Eyes turn, murmurs rise. Elena feels every whispered guess brushing against her skin. Adrian's posture is firm, controlled, effortlessly commanding. He guides her forward with a respectful distance, as if showing the room he is not ashamed to walk beside her. Shockingly, the gesture steadies her. Near the main exit, a woman in a sleek silver gown blocks their path. She is sharp-eyed, elegant, and clearly familiar with Adrian. Adrian, she says with a smile that does not reach her eyes. I saw the little display earlier. Quite unexpected. This is not an appropriate time, Victoria. Adrian replies calmly. Victoria glances at Elena with slow, deliberate judgment. So this is the girl. Elena feels her stomach drop. She does not know who Victoria is, but her tone carries the quiet confidence of someone who has known Adrian far longer than Elena has been in the room. Before Victoria can speak again, Adrian says, "Victoria, if you have concerns, address them through my office. Miss Carter and I are leaving." The dismissal is smooth but unmistakable. Victoria's eyebrows lift. Leaving together? Already making an exit as a couple? Adrian does not respond. He simply walks forward, guiding Elena with him. Elena keeps her gaze downward until they finally reach the main doors. Outside, the night air is cool and sharp, a relief against her overheated skin. A sleek black sedan pulls up to the curb with silent precision. A driver steps out and opens the rear door. Adrian turns to her one more time. "Get some rest, Miss Carter. Tomorrow begins your training." "It's a deficit." She hesitates. "You are not coming with me." "I have matters to resolve here," he says. "But my team will be in contact before sunrise." Elena steps into the car. The interior smells faintly of leather and cedar, a world away from the bus seats she is used to. As the door closes, she sees Adrian still standing on the pavement, composed and unreadable, his expression giving away nothing of the calculation behind his eyes. The car pulls away from the curb, leaving the Grand Hotel shrinking behind her. Only then does Elena exhale, long and shaky. She has agreed to 30 days. 30 days beside a man she barely knows. 30 days navigating a world that has never been hers. 30 days pretending to be the girlfriend of a billionaire whose life runs on precision, reputation, and power. And somehow, she knows the hardest part has not even begun yet. Morning sunlight presses through the thin curtains of Elena's small apartment long before she is ready to wake up. Her alarm has not even rung when her phone buzzes with an unfamiliar number. For a moment, she lies still, hoping it is all a dream. But the second buzz pulls her fully into reality. She answers with a hesitant, "Hello?" A crisp female voice replies, "Miss Carter, this is Mara Jennings. I am the head coordinator for Mr. Hale's public relations team. Your preparation begins in 40 minutes. A car is already on its way." Elena sits up too fast. 40 minutes? I have work today. I cannot just disappear." "You have been excused," Mara says. "Your employer received a call from the Hale office this morning." Elena closes her eyes. Of course he arranged it. Adrian Hale is a man who does not leave loose ends. Still, having her job handled behind her back feels unsettling. "Where am I going?" she asks quietly. "The Hale Tower, the 11th floor image suite," Mara replies. "Please be ready, and dress neutrally. We will handle the rest." The call ends. Elena stares at her phone, feeling the weight of a life she no longer recognizes. She rushes to get dressed, tying her hair back and slipping into the only clean blouse she owns. When she steps outside, a black sedan identical to the one from the night before is already waiting. The driver nods, opens the door, and the city blurs around her as they glide toward the business district. The Hale Tower rises like a silver blade against the sky. Inside, everything is glass and polished stone. Elena feels small, out of place, painfully aware of every scuff on her shoes. Mara meets her near the private elevator. She is tall, elegant, and moves with sharp confidence. "Follow me, Miss Carter," she says. The 11th floor opens into a wide space filled with racks of gowns, softboxes, and mirrors framed with warm lights. A team of stylists stands waiting. Mara gestures to them. "This is your image team for the next month. They will assist with wardrobe, hair, posture training, and public presence. You will attend events beside Adrian Hale. Every detail matters." A stylist steps forward. "We have reviewed your proportions. We have selected several options for your first appearance. May we begin?" Elena nods, unable to find her voice. Hours pass in a blur of pinned fabrics, color charts, and gentle but relentless instructions. She learns how to stand without fidgeting, how to walk more slowly, how to hold herself like someone who belongs in front of cameras. They adjust the hem of a deep emerald dress, smooth her hair, and show her how to breathe through nerves. When the team finally steps back, Elena hardly recognizes the woman in the mirror. She looks polished, poised, like someone who has stepped out of a magazine. But behind the reflection, her eyes are still her own, unsure, unsteady, human. Mara checks her tablet. "Adrian will arrive shortly. Your statement with him is scheduled for noon. Until then, remain here." Elena nods. The room is quiet except for the low hum of the city outside the tall windows. She presses a hand to her stomach, hoping to calm the storm building inside her. The door opens. Adrian enters with the controlled stride she is already beginning to recognize. Exquisitely composed in a tailored charcoal suit, he carries an aura that fills the room effortlessly. His gaze moves over the stylists before settling on her. "Elena," he says, and there is a brief pause, one that feels almost like surprise. "You look prepared." She forces a steady breath. "Your team has done most of the work." "Good," he replies, "because what comes next is more complicated than cameras and formal clothing." She meets his eyes, unsure what he means. He continues, "When we step outside today, people will watch every detail. They will judge every glance, every distance between us, every movement. But if we act with precision, the narrative will settle quickly." Her pulse quickens. "And if we fail?" Adrian's eyes hold hers, firm, unwavering. "Then this entire arrangement collapses," he says, "and both of us pay the price." A cold certainty settles in her bones. She straightens her posture, remembering the lessons of the morning. "Then I will not fail," she says quietly. For the first time, something like approval flickers across Adrian's face. He offers his arm. "Shall we begin?" he asks. Elena hesitates for half a heartbeat, then places her hand on his arm. Because from this moment on, the world will see them together. Whether she is ready or not, she has stepped into the spotlight beside a man who does not know how to lose. The elevator ride to the ground floor feels impossibly long. Elena keeps her hand lightly resting on Adrian's arm, just as the training team instructed. Not gripping, not clinging, simply present. She focuses on her breathing, on the soft hum of the elevator, on anything except the reality waiting outside the building. When the doors slide open, the quiet of the 11th floor vanishes. Camera shutters fire instantly. Reporters crowd behind velvet barriers. Security lines the perimeter. Dozens of lenses turn toward them as if summoned by a single breath. Elena freezes for a fraction of a second before Adrian leans slightly toward her. "Remember," he says softly, "we enter together, we leave together." She nods, grounding herself with the steady certainty of his tone. They step forward. The sunlight reflects off the tower's glass facade, turning the plaza into a stage. Microphones rise. A wave of voices surges toward them. "Mr. Hale, who is she? Is this your new relationship? Was the kiss staged? Miss, are you an employee of Hale Industries?" Elena tries not to shrink back. She remembers the lessons. Keep her shoulders open, chin level, steps measured. Adrian raises his hand, commanding the crowd without raising his voice. "I will make a brief statement," he says. The noise falls sharply. Adrian continues. "Last night, at the gala, there was an unexpected moment captured on video. I want to clarify that the young woman beside me is not a stranger. Her name is Elena Carter. We have been getting to know each other privately." Several reporters gasp. Pens scratch across notepads. Elena's heart pounds. She had known this was coming, but hearing it spoken aloud shakes her more than she expected. Adrian glances toward her, offering a small, measured nod. The signal. She steps closer to him, just enough for the cameras to see. Her voice is soft but steady. "There was a misunderstanding last night, but I am here today because I want the truth to come directly from us, not from rumors." A murmur sweeps the crowd. Some faces soften, some narrow in suspicion, but none see the fear pressing against her ribs. Adrian places a hand lightly at the center of her back. Not possessive, not dramatic, just a simple, public gesture that seals the narrative. "Miss Carter will be accompanying me to upcoming events," he says. "We appreciate your respect as we navigate this transition." A final wave of questions erupts, but security begins guiding them toward the waiting car. Elena follows, maintaining the calm posture she practiced, even as her pulse races. Inside the car, the door closes, muffling the chaos outside. She lets out a breath she did not realize she was holding. Adrian studies her for a moment. "You handled that well." She shakes her head. "I felt like I could barely speak." "But you did," he replies. "And you did not break under pressure. That is more than most people can manage." His praise catches her off guard. She looks out the window to steady herself. The city rushes by in blurs of silver and blue. After a moment, she asks quietly, "What happens next?" Adrian answers without hesitation. "Next, we prepare for the first public event. It will be more difficult than a statement. More eyes, more expectations." Elena exhales slowly. "I will try." "You will do more than try," Adrian says. his voice calm but certain. You will succeed, because now, whether we intended it or not, every step we take affects both of us. His words settle heavily in the air between them. For the first time, Elena understands that this is no longer just a contract. It is a performance the entire city is waiting to judge. The following days move faster than Elena can process. Every morning begins with training at the Hale Tower, followed by fittings, etiquette drills, and briefings on the people she will meet at upcoming events. It feels like studying for an exam she never chose to take, and no matter how much she learns, she always fears she will fall short. The first major event arrives sooner than she expects. A charity reception hosted at a glass-walled rooftop venue overlooking the city. Elena rides with Adrian in the same black sedan, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She wears a soft ivory dress chosen by the image team, elegant enough to fit in but simple enough not to look forced. Adrian studies her silently for a moment. If you feel overwhelmed, stay close, he says. My presence will shield most of the attention. She nods. I will do my best. You will do more than that, he replies. Remember your training. But the moment they step out onto the rooftop terrace, all preparation feels suddenly fragile. Conversations hush. Faces turn toward them. A few cameras lift discreetly. Elena stands beside Adrian, trying to hold herself with the steady posture she practiced, but anxiety coils tight in her stomach. A waiter passes with trays of champagne. Elena reaches for a glass, hoping the motion will steady her, but a voice to her left interrupts sharply. Well, this is unexpected. Victoria, the same woman from the gala. Her silver dress glitters under the rooftop lights, and her smile is thin, edged with something cold. Adrian, she says smoothly, I see your little public statement was only the beginning. Elena stiffens. Victoria's gaze sweeps over her with practiced disdain. So, Elena, how does it feel to go from working behind the scenes to standing at Adrian's side? Quite an upgrade. Elena tries to respond politely, but her voice catches. Before she can answer, Adrian steps forward. Victoria, he says, calm but firm, this is neither the time nor the place. But it is a fair question, Victoria replies lightly. Everyone here is wondering the same thing. Elena feels heat rise in her face. She remembers the training. Remain composed. Do not let criticism shake her posture. Do not react emotionally. She steadies her breath. I know people will have questions, she says softly, but I am here with Adrian because he asked me to be. That is all anyone needs to know. The simplicity of her answer seems to catch Victoria off guard. A few nearby guests glance at each other, impressed by Elena's calm tone. Adrian nods slightly, approval flickering in his eyes. Elena is handling herself well, he says. If you have further concerns, direct them to my office. Victoria's smile tightens, but she steps aside. As Elena and Adrian move deeper into the event, she exhales quietly. Adrian leans in just enough for only her to hear. That was your first real test, he says. You passed. But Elena can still feel Victoria's scrutiny lingering behind them like a shadow. And deep down, she knows this was only the beginning of the challenges waiting in this world she does not belong to. The rooftop event continues around them, glittering and loud, but Elena feels the weight of every glance that follows their steps. She stays near Adrian, repeating her training in her mind. Shoulders open, chin level, controlled breaths. But the anxiety does not fade. It only settles deeper. Adrian notices. Do not rush your pace, he says quietly. If you move too quickly, people will sense discomfort. She slows her steps. I am trying. I know, he replies, and you are doing better than you think. They stop near a display showcasing the charity's new community program. Guests drift by, offering polite greetings. Everything seems to be going smoothly until Adrian's chief financial officer approaches, holding a tablet. Adrian, you should see this, he says. Adrian takes the tablet. His expression remains neutral, but a subtle tension sharpens his posture. Elena leans slightly to look. A headline flashes across the screen. Gala Kiss Mystery. Is Adrian Hale's new romance a publicity move? Below it is a blurry photo of her leaving work last week, hair tied back, wearing her worn uniform. Another photo shows her small apartment building. The article speculates about her income, her background, and why a billionaire would choose someone like her. Elena's breath catches. Her chest tightens painfully. She steps back, struggling to speak. I did not know they had those pictures. I did not. Adrian lowers the tablet. This is targeted, he says. Someone fed them information. Her pulse races. Someone like Victoria? He does not answer directly, but the silence is enough. Then, as if summoned by the tension, Victoria reappears beside them. "Difficult evening?" she asks smoothly. Adrian turns to her, voice composed but edged with steel. "Victoria, did you send this information to the press?" She laughs lightly. "Adrian, if the media is digging, it is because they sense weakness. I simply let them do their job." Elena feels the sting behind those words. Weakness. That is how people like Victoria see her. Adrian steps forward, his tone dropping. "You deliberately interfered in a matter that does not concern you. It concerns the company," she replies. "Any scandal affects the board, the shareholders, and your public image. I am simply protecting our interests." "Dudet," withdrew Lloyd. Elena watches them, feeling a deep ache forming in her chest. This world has teeth, and she is standing unarmed in the center of it. Adrian ends the exchange with a cold, controlled certainty. "Victoria, this is a warning. Do not overstep again." Victoria's smile fades for the first time. She turns and walks away without another word. Elena exhales shakily. "She hates me. She hates losing control," Adrian corrects. "You are only a symbol of that." Elena lowers her eyes. She is right about one thing. I am not used to this world. I do not know how to fight people like her. Adrian studies her face. "You do not need to fight her. You only need to trust that I can handle it." She hesitates. "Trust," the word feels heavy. "You are asking a lot," she whispers. "I know," he says, "but I am also giving a lot." There is something in his voice she has not heard before. Not authority, not strategy. Something quieter, something almost vulnerable. He continues, "This contract began as a solution to a problem, but if we are going to survive the next 28 days, you must believe that I will protect you." Elena lifts her gaze to meet his. The city lights reflect in his eyes, turning them sharp, steady, and unexpectedly human. "Adrian," she says softly, "I do not want to be a burden." "You are not," he replies. For a moment, the rooftop noise fades. The air between them feels fragile, suspended, charged with something unspoken. But then a group of guests approaches, and the moment breaks. Still, as Adrian guides her toward the next conversation, his hand rests lightly at her back. Not for show, not for the cameras, for her. And the realization shakes her more than the entire press scandal ever could. The rooftop event winds down, but the tension echoes long after the last guests drift away. Elena follows Adrian toward the exit, her steps slower now, her thoughts heavier. The earlier moment between them lingers in her mind, the honesty in his voice, the subtle warmth behind his composure. But she does not trust herself to interpret any of it. Not yet. The drive back to the Hale Tower is silent. Not uncomfortable, just dense with unspoken questions. When they reach the private lobby, Adrian turns to her. "Tomorrow will be quieter," he says. "You deserve a break after tonight." She nods politely. "Thank you. I will see you in the morning. Thank you for watching." But as she moves toward the elevator, his voice stops her. "Elena." She turns back. "There is something I need to show you," he says. His tone is steady, but there is something different in it. Something that feels like a door opening. Curiosity pulls her forward. Adrian leads her to a small conference room on the same floor. Inside, the lights turn on automatically, revealing a wall of screens displaying news feeds and social media reports. Elena braces herself for more headlines, more scrutiny. Instead, every screen shows the same thing. A new article, a corrected narrative, one that paints her not as an opportunist, but as a private employee who had been unfairly targeted by intrusive speculation. The tone is respectful. The comments are calm. The photos of her apartment and workplace have been taken down. She stares at the screens, speechless. How did this happen? Adrian studies her with a quiet intensity. "I made a decision. Your privacy is no longer negotiable. Anyone who targets you will answer to me." Elena's breath trembles. "You did all this tonight?" "Yes," he says simply, "because you should not have to carry the consequences of a world you did not choose." Her eyes burn, and she looks away for a moment. "You did not have to do that for me." "I did," Adrian says, "because protecting you is part of our agreement." He sighed. "I fair do, Malmus," but his voice softens on the last word, and she hears the truth beneath it. It is no longer just a contract for him. Elena steps closer. her voice barely above a whisper. Adrian, what happens when the 30 days are over? He does not answer immediately. Instead, he walks to the side table, opens a small velvet-lined box, and removes something that glints under the lights. A bracelet, not the thin silver band the image team gave her. This one is gold. Elegant, deliberate, real. He holds it out to her. This is not part of the contract, he says. This is from me. No conditions attached. Elena stares at the bracelet, unable to speak. Her heart thuds heavily, painfully. Why? She whispers. Why give me this? Adrian meets her eyes. Because somewhere between the first statement and tonight, I stopped thinking of you as a complication, and I started thinking of you as the person I want beside me. Contract or not. The room feels suddenly smaller, warmer, too intimate for her racing heart. She breathes in slowly. I do not know what this is becoming, Adrian. I do not know if I can promise anything more than honesty. That is all I want, he says. She hesitates, then extends her wrist. Adrian fastens the bracelet gently, his fingers brushing her skin with a care she did not expect from a man the world calls ruthless. When he steps back, she feels steadier than she has in days. Elena, he says quietly, when the 30 days end, I hope you will stay. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. Her voice softens. I cannot give you an answer tonight. I am not asking for it tonight, Adrian replies. I only wanted you to know the truth. For the first time since the gala, Elena smiles. A small, fragile smile that carries more meaning than she intended. Then I will think about it, she says. And I will wait, he replies. Outside, the city glows against the night sky. Inside, two people stand closer than a contract ever required. And for the first time, Elena realizes that the dare, the kiss, the contract, the chaos, every step has been leading here. Not to a performance, not to a negotiation, but to a choice, a real one.